Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind, head out to Chull or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get you all out there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Oh, I think that's my cue. Hey. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. I'm Gaarawarr. I'm still here. My birthday yesterday. So I have a post-birthday. It's not a hangover. It's like I ate a lot of pizza last night and German chocolate cake, and so now my body's like, it's like a food coma still. Worth it. Worth it. Worth it. But I'm here today to talk about Voronika. This is Liar's Night Part 2. Liar's Night 2024 Part 2. Last week we talked about Cass, who was the brand new champion that came to the game. And some of too many of the flex champions. I got to remember to do the bulk of the flex champions in the second week. We talked about Averin, Esmeralda, Astarion, Daub, and Kent last week. So this week we're going to talk about the reworked champion, Voronika. Not Veronica. Not Voronika. Voronika. As I recall from the pronunciation. From the talented and incredible V. So we're going to talk about Voronika. We're going to talk about Kron, Dinar, Brig, and Thalora after that. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Of course, as always, if you have questions, you can ask them in chat with question : before them. And Sasha's going to be grabbing them today. Sasha's in the production booth, grabbing questions and keeping an eye on chat. So yeah, make sure you say hi to Sasha, but also make sure you put question : in front of your questions like it shows down there, and like a bot will probably say in chat at some point. And that way we make sure to grab them, because the way this show works is for the first hour I talk on the topic, first hour-ish. And then in the second hour I do a second half. I should just say the first half. But that's still, I mean, it's a 2-hour show. That implies an hour. First part, second part, Q&A. And I will go through whatever questions I have, and then whatever people keep asking for as long as we have time, right? Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes in chat. Appreciated. All right. Yes, we're just gonna dive right in. So, Veronica, seat 1 champion. She's been in this game a while. A lot of people were like, "How do you have like?" I remember Wednesday before noon, I had the new reworked Veronica on my stream, and people were like, "How do you have access to her? She's not out for." And I'm like, "No. Oh, look, she's been in the game for a long time. This is her rework." I had her before, and all the changes went live before noon. So look, she's back and she's been adjusted. So we're just gonna talk. I'm not even gonna talk about the way she worked before. We're just gonna. I will say that she had a puppet ability before, and this reworked version is much friendlier to use the puppet. But we'll go all over Veronica and talk about what's going on with Veronica's kit. And then, wow, I didn't flex anybody that's on today's list. Ron Denard Brigand's Laura, not yet anyway. But look, as you get cast, obviously you're gonna get right away. It's gonna show up. Veronica's gonna be around. I had a supporter slot, and then the week 1 flexes, which I flexed, and I haven't run their content yet. This is this week's flex. It does cost 3 time gate pieces. So the very first week of the event, you get a free flex. The second week, you have a 3 time gate piece flex. That's what this one is. And then the third week, you'll have another a free flex. That's this one. It still unlocks. It's still locked. It'll unlock in 4 days. It's going to be 3 time gate pieces as well. Okay, so the second and third weeks, it's 3 time gate pieces. So this is kind of, other than Mert is always first priority for spending 3 time gate pieces on. But then you want to make sure you always have the time gate pieces for these flexes, because they're just, they're kind of the best way to obtain the champion and get gear for them. Time gates are kind of, they're required, but they're not currently in as good a place as events. So keep that in mind. Any change? Wow, what's her? Oh, for Puppet Master. Okay. She got a new outfit. Pretty cool. I like this more though. Glimmer the Ghost Owl. This familiar is fantastic. All right. Also, Thalora, who we're talking about today, got a new outfit, and it's great too. I'll be honest, I had expected a headless centaur kind of riff, like the headless horseman, but since she's a centaur, she'd just be holding her head. But maybe that was a little too gruesome for the Idol Champions target audience. I don't know. This is cool. I do like this. All right. Back. Hey, look, I'm streaming. All right. So we're gonna start with Veronica. I've got her on the front. This is not indicative of their positioning on the field, folks. She is not a tank. She is a pure support. Female Eladrin, that's an elf. Druid. Chaotic evil from the Black Dice Society. This is a complete affiliation, so you can go out and collect all the members. And they do work together pretty well. All right. Base attack, produce flame. It is a magical attack. That's what this symbol means. Veronica creates a flame in her hand, which she fires at a random enemy. Now, Veronica's base attack and other features of her kit will change, because Veronica will change. Hopefully. I encourage you to make sure she does. She has a passive ability called Wed Then Undead. This is after being killed on her wedding night. Veronica became a ghost. Veronica continues to attack and can be attacked like normal. So she counts as dead, folks. And even after her change, which we're going to get to soon, she will still count as dead. She as a champion in your formation counts as dead. Okay. And there are other champions that enjoy this and that can get buffs because of this. So good to keep in mind. Puppet Master. So Veronica claims the Bud Setting Champion as her puppet. So whoever you have built your formation around as the primary DPS is going to become her puppet. The damage of her chosen puppet is increased by an amount. This amount can vary. Voronika only changes her puppet if a different champion is the bud setting champion for more than 30 seconds in a row. So if it's just kind of bouncing around a little bit, it doesn't count. It needs to be the person who's consistently setting bud. Voronika's puppet gains the Black Dice Society affiliation. Honorary member. That's fantastic. That's great. There are abilities in this game that cue off of like the people in the most populous affiliation or based off affiliation bonus. Yeah, this is super cool. Love it. Love that for the puppet. Here's what it looks like. Dinar is currently the puppet. Dinar is currently the puppet. Yeah, sure. Dinar is currently the puppet. And you see they put the little strings with the little right on top of it. Voronika, I've had Voronika in a formation loam. She becomes her own puppet. I love this thing. I was so confused when it came out, but then I was like, oh, because they're a puppet. Oh, all right. I was confused because it was on Voronika and it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, shouldn't that be on her puppet? And then I realized, oh, they haven't set bud yet. Learning a new champion, folks. Even after 7 years playing this game, sometimes it takes a hot second. Sometimes it takes a hot second. Calculating guidance. The next ability. Voronika increases the damage of all champions in the column in front of her. I know it reads a little weird. In one column in front of her. Well, which one? There's people who are complaining about this. But look, folks, come on. It's the column in front of her. And you can tell when you kind of like... and then I say this and it goes to 2, but I have a feat in that changes that. There's a feat, folks, that changes it to 2. Okay, let me remove it, and then I'll show you. This is how you tell. Where's Voronika buffing? Oh, it's the column in front of her. This is not some random column. It's the one right in front. All right, that's what's going on with calculating guidance. Voronika's key allies. This is a thing for her. Key allies. I don't know if they're going to try to make this a thing for lots of champions, but key allies are members of the Black Dice Society. The effect of this ability is increased by 100% for each key ally in the formation. So as this reads on its own, it's based on the number of Black Dice Society affiliation members, which is why having her puppet be an automatic member is good. It's another reason it's good for you because, hey, they're going to count as a key ally and she's going to buff them more. So the effect of this ability is increased by 100% for each key ally in the formation. This stacks additively. That's the way. Until Voronika completes her search for the crown. What? When it changes to stack multiplicatively. That's the good way. So right away, we don't know what search for the crown is yet. We can see it peeking through down here at the bottom, but we don't know what that is yet. But we do know we want it. And we do know we want it. Because if an ability has the capability of being multiplicatively stacking, that's what you want. That's the strongest way an ability can stack. Additively is meh. Multiplicatively is yeah. Yes, please. Okay. So there's something we're gonna have to do to make her to really unlock her power. And that's search for the crown. Voronika's search for the crown of the Raven Queen requires her to complete 3 goals. When Voronika completes all 3 goals, she acquires the crown, transforms into her Dark Lord form, unlocks her ultimate attack, so that's the only way you get your ultimate, and improves her base attack. I remember I said things were going to change. Okay. So lots of good things. You get her ultimate. We don't know what it is yet, but you don't get it unless you do this. So that means you want to do this. You get a multiplicatively stacking ability, sure, and an improved base attack. Okay. We want to search for the crown. Now this doesn't tell us here. I'm mad once again. I thought in this rework they'd get it right. They did this last time too. They don't tell you right here how to search for the crown. You got to come over here. Voronika reaches level 750. I'm at 190 out of 750, so that's her upgrades. So you got to upgrade her to 750. There's one step. Use 50 ultimate attacks with other champions, and it gives you a tracker. Okay, That means you're going to want to be either punching those buttons or throwing down some familiars, right? And then locked. We'll get to that. Her spec, her one of her first spec choice has to do with it. Like gives you a choice of 3 things, and we're gonna get to that. I think next. Yes, next. Okay, so Voronika needs to be leveled up to 750. You got to be mashing other ultimates. This is Dinar's preview. He runs out and he pukes all over the ground. Literally throws up everywhere, and it's acid vomit, and people walk into it and take damage. Enjoy. So hey, let's get some more ultimates out. At least we're ticking on that timer, right? All right, first spec choice, folks. Embrace evil, hunt the favored, or weaken the fools. Sure. All of these are the 3rd search for the crown goals. Right? Calculating guidance's key allies must defeat something. So this is where the key allies things come in. So whoever is your bud setting champion, automatically a key ally. So is Voronika. And so is any other member of the Black Dice Society by default. Okay. For Embrace Evil, you're looking at the key allies must defeat 2,500 enemies. And the key allies for Calculating Guidance will now also include champions who have the evil alignment. So not just Black Dice Society and not just your puppet, but also evil champions. That's Embrace Evil. 2,500 enemies is a lot. It will count situations like this where familiars are killing them. As long as those allies would have had the damage, I've watched it click up. I've watched the timer kick up for that. Hunt the favored, so this is must defeat 500 enemies. Well, that's nicer already. Who are the favored foe of any champion in the formation. Oh. The key allies for Calculating Guidance now also include champions who have a favored foe. There are a number of champions in this game who have some kind of favored foe mechanic. A lot of them, not all, but a lot of them are heroes of Baldur's Gate, part of that affiliation. Some of them also have like the favorite enemies can be a variety of different things. Some of them can choose their favorite enemy, like Minsk. Everybody gets Minsk to start, so you have someone who does this Minsk in seat 7. And Minsk can choose a variety of different things. So, for instance, right now we're dealing with humanoids on Area 1. Minsk can spec into humanoids as a favorite foe, and you could just farm this up on Area 1, right, if you wanted. But there are a number of them, and some of them will create extra enemies. And that just makes this go faster. This middle spec, if you're just trying to get this done very quickly, and there's a reason for that we'll talk about later. Hunt the favored is the choice to do that. And once you search for the crown, once you have the crown and she changes into Dark Lord Voronika, you can always use this potion of specialization to change her to something else. For reasons. For key allies reasons, right? Because Calculating Guidance, remember, Calculating Guidance buffs based off the number of key allies. So if your formation is gonna be like an evil formation, you might just start off with favored foes to get her the crown super fast, and then respec her into evil so she gets the most, so she has the biggest damage buff she can do there for Calculating Guidance. All right, Weaken the Fools is the last one, and it's 1,750 applied debuffs on enemies. This is different. Applying debuffs is well, there are some that apply a debuff on spawn in. Most of the time it's on attack, which means these familiars killing things are going to screw you up. So generally speaking, I would stay away from this one. Unless you're respecking into it later because you want the key allies. Because key allies then for Weaken the Fools is anyone with a debuff roll. So again, I think favored foe to get your crown on, literally, and then use one of those potions of specialization to go out. Now, a lot of people are like, well, you can also respec by moving into a background group. Do not do that. I don't know what happens in this case, because because that then de-levels Voronika, and then you might have to start over. I don't know. I haven't tested. I don't want to test to see what happens there. For people that are super worried about this, have been playing the game long enough to have some respec potions, and there's nothing else to use them on. So yeah, I would just spec into something that's gonna let you grab the crown and go from there. You know what? I need to here. I'm gonna do this. Minsk, Mighty Ranger, come join us. So Minsk humanoid. All right, he's gonna stand in the back over here. I'm gonna put him up here. He's not part of this, but he's gonna now. He's now favored foe. Here we go. Favored foes, and we're killing. We're off to the races. See it tick up, even though we're just killing with click damage. It's ticking up. In fact, I want to get his ultimate up here and then go into so we can keep going there. All right. Hunt the Favored was the thing that shows speed run. Speed run. I'm gonna read this and then we're gonna have a little chat. The effect of Puppet Master is increased by an amount. It starts off at EO 5%, so I want to be clear that EO 5, and it's not getting any upgrades or anything. It does have an item, but on this account, this is including the item. I've got like 600 item levels on this item. EO 5, not the biggest buff in the world. This value multiplicatively decreases by 10% 5 minutes after the adventure starts, and decreases by another 10% for every minute after that, but doesn't decrease after Voronika has completed her search for the crown. There are a lot of people confused that think this is a speed effect because of the name, speedrun. First off, reading comprehension is important. This is not a speed ability. Just because it's named speedrun, it's telling you that to get this effect, you effectively have to speedrun your way to the crown. It is not a speed effect. Okay? She has the support roll, she doesn't have the speed roll. This is not a speed effect. This is not a hot take. This is my room temperature take. It might have been a hot take on Wednesday, but I've had time to sit with it. It's now room temperature. Ignore this ability completely. I don't say that often in Idle Champions. Ignore this ability completely. It is not of any value to you. This is not where her power lies as a champion, and it is unfriendly. Voronika had an unfriendly mechanic before around her puppet, and it was my understanding that the whole point of her rework was to make her a friendlier champion to use. And in terms of the puppet, they succeeded. Nailed it. Speedrun makes her unfriendly in a different way. And I will never care about it. I will never care about it. I made that decision on Wednesday, and yeah, no, nothing's changed. I don't care about this ability. In fact, I think this item is a waste of itemization, and it actually makes her less valuable overall, because all these item levels are just wasted. Even when I've nailed it right away, because you can do a lot of work. You can put a lot of work in, folks. What you do is you set up a formation like I just said. You bring her in, you bring Minsk in, and you bring speed champions in like Shandy to speed things up, or you drop some speed potions, or you have extra spawners like Tatiana and Melf if you get lucky and he spawns extra enemies, and you just flood the screen with favored foes and other champions that produce favored foes or count everything as favored foes. and you wreck that goal, and you get her, and you can get her speed run done, and like you can get her crown in 5 minutes or less. You got to have a lot of favor, obviously, but I got all these things right, and I have all the champions. I can do this. I can do this. It's like a 5 EO5 buff to put in all that work. Don't worry about it. Is my suggestion to you. Don't worry about it. I've also just not tried to rush it and just started off and did an evil thing and built it around and got the crown and I had an EO4 buff. I wasn't even trying to race through it. Still ended up with an EO4 buff. Don't break yourself trying to micromanage speedrun. There's even a feat that like buffs it like wildly. It's like 900% or whatever, but it makes it even harder to do. And people are like, well, just slot it in later. That works, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to lock in this value the second you find the crown. Like you have to put it. You're supposed to put it in first, and they'll probably fix that if it's not working that way, because that's what they've designed here. And here's the worst part. I didn't even get the worst part yet. The worst part for me is where it says 5 minutes after the adventure starts. Not 5 minutes after you get Voronika to 250 and unlock this ability. Or even 5 minutes after you get to the you start searching for the crown. Or even 5 minutes after you put her in the formation. 5 minutes after the adventure started. How long ago did this adventure start, folks? This will tell you. Or does it tell you here? It doesn't tell you over here. It tells you when you close. Oh, there you go. Adventure time. 29 minutes and 13 seconds. That's what it's counting. I loaded her in on a test account that I had sitting in something for a week. And I brought her in and it said she had been there for 7 days, so her buff was 0. Some people have run into issues where it shows that it's in a negative, like it's gone into the negative. It's, as far as I can tell, it's a visual bug. Here, it's the third 29 minutes. I'm down to a current bonus of 7,300%. I don't care. Hey, please don't. Just don't. Just don't. This is not the power in her kit. This is not it. This is a frustration. I don't know why it exists. There is a lot of work for no reward, honestly. All right, let's talk about where her power actually exists. I put it in the chess code today, folks. The ultimate power. Ultimate power, folks. Voronika increases the effect of calculating guidance by a very tiny amount, 0.1%, for each use of an ultimate while she's in the formation. Stacking multiplicatively, caps at 100,000 stacks. That's what EO5. These stacks persist until reset, so until you complete the run. So this is an in-run ramping effect. How are we doing on the... We haven't leveled her up enough, right? No, okay. But we're almost to the ultimates. We defeated the favored foe, so I'm going to take Minsk out. I'm going to take Minsk out, and I'm going to take this off of there. Oh, now I need to put Minsk back in and take that off. And then take Minsk back out. Okay. So, ultimate power wants you firing off ultimates all the time, right? That's what it reads as. This is where her power lies. I know it's a very tiny amount, but we're stacking multiplicatively to 100,000 stacks. So even at a very small amount, because of the number of potential stacks, she has a very high max value. Now I want to be clear. Normal usage, you're not getting anywhere near 100,000 stacks. What they did is they created another champion that if you have Umberto, you'll understand. They Umberto'd Voronika. They made her a champion that you want to have sitting in a run. Like the longer you have her in a run, the more power she's going to build up. And it gets big. At max stacks, this is an E43 buff. At 100,000 stacks, this is an E43 buff. Before any item, she has an item for this. Doesn't scale very well. None of her items scale very well. She is not what I call a mathematically overpowered champion. She does not have any pre-stack multipliers for multiplicatively stacking abilities. It's all post-stack. But this is an E43 buff. Okay. That's at 100,000 stacks. At 75,000 stacks, let's dial it back a little bit. 75,000 stacks, you're in the early E30s. You're in the early E30s. Okay. 50,000 stacks, you're in the early E20s. You can see where this is going, right? Every 25,000 stacks or so gets you about an E10 bonus. Okay. So just so you have an idea of kind of what you would need to build up for to really get her power. That's what we're talking about. To get 100,000 stacks, you have to figure out, or even to just even get 25,000 stacks on a run or beyond, you have to figure out the most efficient way to fire off ultimates quickly if you're really trying to race this up, to ramp it up. I have not done a lot of research into this, I'll be honest. There may be... There's likely, look, there's over 140 champions in the game now. There's likely a combination that's quicker than the one I'm about to tell you. But my mind, after 7 years of playing this game, immediately went to, I'm just going to clear everybody out of here but Voronika, immediately went to seat 6, Dungeon Master, because he does have uses in this game, though not that many. This is one of them. And seat 10, Havilar, member of the Brimstone Angels, Frida's twin sister. Havilar specifically, in her speedy sacrifice setup, this decreases the cooldown of her Summon Imp ultimate to 10 seconds. This gives Havilar a 10-second ultimate. Which, look, you can get Brunor at cap down to 15 seconds. Havilar doesn't even have to, like, she doesn't have an ultimate cooldown item. You can get her to 10. Havilar is great. Dungeon Master resets someone's ultimate and then takes their cooldown timer, which basically means average, you're going to punch 2 ultimates every 10 seconds. So that means you get an ultimate every 5 seconds. So, go ahead. Punch that ultimate. Boom. Refresh. Over and over again. You're going to average 2 ultimates every 10 seconds. That's 24 ultimates a minute. Like I said, I don't know if there's a faster combination. What I do know is if you introduce a lot of the other champions, not all of them, a lot of the other champions that have some kind of ultimate cooldown reduction are also based off ultimates. They have a longer cooldown. We don't really want to introduce them into this cycle. A lot of them are also percentage based instead of time based. And lowering the percentage on 10 seconds is kind of like in a percentage way is kind of pointless. This seems real fast to me. It's the fastest I could come up with. And what I want to do is I'm doing this again because I can't remember off the top of my head. Divided by, oh dang it. Okay, so 100,000. We're trying to get 100,000, and we can do 24 a minute. And there's 60 minutes in an hour. That's 69, nice, 0.4 repeating hours. Which means you're looking at almost 3 days. So like I said, they Umberto'd her. This means to get to E43, you're basically having to build it up for 3 days. Now that's 3 days of the timer that's on this thing, right? Where is it? Right here. So that means we can throw down speed potions. So if it's 69 hours, nice. And we do a 10x speed, that's 6.9 hours. Nice. Which is nicer, right? But that does mean you'd be needing 7. You'd have to use 1 of these and 7 of these if you don't have any other way to get to 10x. Right? Because these two together should get you to 10x with the stuff in the game. Which, feels a little better. Feels a little better if you want that E43 buff. You could set it and forget it overnight with 7 hour-long potions. Go get yourself some sleep. Come back to an E43 buff on Voronika and hopefully destroy whatever you were trying to do. Hopefully. Right? This is her power. This is her power. Ultimate power. Itty bitty living space. Wait, no, that's now that line goes. Yeah, this is her power. It just won't look that way. Right? Like right now it looks like garbage. Like 6,000, right? But this is what multiplicatively stacking can do. This is what multiplicatively stacking can do. Even when you're starting off with a tiny little number, if you can get EO5 stacks, if that's the cap, it can become a big thing. Okay? And for Voronika, it absolutely does. The rest of her kit, not super special. I think I got Puppet Master up into like the E10s, E12s, like her buffs, the rest of her buffs are like, for me, even with 600, 500, 600 item levels and stuff, it was in the E10, E12 range. Voronika's power is in ultimate power. Yeah. Okay, second specialization choice, because she's got another one. Battle magic, powerful focus, strike first, strike hard. Cobra Kai. Wait. Is she a member of Cobra Kai? Wasn't that their slogan? These are extra effects for the puppets. I love this. I like this new puppet mechanism, and I love these ways to change the way the puppet works a bit. Okay, battle magic is the one that I'm in love with. I love these types of enhancements. Voronika's puppet additionally casts an explosive magic missile at a random target after each attack, which deals 1,000% of their normal damage to all enemies in a small area. So regardless of what kind of base attack a champion has, single target, multi-target, AoE, battle magic adds a magic AoE attack after their initial base attack. This is fantastic. I love these. Why do I love these? I love these because it helps to get rid of a champion's weakness. There are a lot of champions in this game that are single target DPS. They have no real wave clear, but they're a DPS champion, and they can deliver some big numbers, but they don't have wave clear, and they only hit once. Well, this gives them a second hit. Now it is random, but look, if you're fighting an armored boss, and this is the scenario you would really go for this in. If you're fighting an armored boss, now you're chunking twice. You're removing 2 chunks as the DPS, which is faster. As math. Right? It's also going to give you wave clear, help you get through masses of enemies once you ramp up enough damage, sure. But for me, I see this as extra credit on bosses. Yay! Yay! Every attack. I feel like it's at its most powerful on anyone that's single target, whether it's a single target DPS or an AoE DPS, like that's just a tiny little cleave AoE. Well, now they get 2 of them. So 2 hits, great. Multi-target, you're just giving them an extra. It's like, okay. But it's less powerful there because it's just 1 more, and they might already have 3 or 5 or whatever, right? I like this one a lot. Powerful focus. The puppet has all of their incoming positional damage effects increased by 75%, and their base attack now knocks back any enemies it hits a short distance. So crowd control and positional buffage. A lot of people are just going to go for this. It can be a big buff, right? It's 75% on positionals if you're already building a positional formation that has a lot of them. Boosting those positionals has always been seen as a fantastic thing. And as far as I can tell, we did some tests on Wednesday. It should be stacking with multiplicatively with other boosts to positional effects. I did see it tracking differently on how, but if that's, I didn't go into like, is it actually, I didn't go super deep into it. It looked to be working correctly. Strike first, strike hard. The puppet attacks 1 second faster, so you can give them a full second of attack speed. And their damage is increased by 150% for each champion adjacent to them, stacking multiplicatively. If you're not, so you got to figure out which one of these is going to be, if you're just going for damage, it's going to be one of these two. Right? If you have a lot of positionals, it's probably this one. This one's going to be formation based. If you can have your puppet surrounded by 6, that's the max. That's 150% times itself. 5 more times, right? Like to the 6th. This could be great. You got to figure it out though. I like this one. I like this one. Again, I like multi-hit functionality. No, I knew that was coming. All right. So Voronika's got a lot going on. We are now in our Dark Lord form, if you didn't notice. This is what she looks like in her Dark Lord form. She looks alive, but remember, she's still undead. Produce Flame, Dark Lord. This is her attack now. She still attacks a random enemy with a flame, right? But the target is now lit on fire and takes damage for 5 seconds. This is Bud-based damage, which means Voronika, along with that battle magic spec, Voronika herself, though, is an armor chunker as long as you have a high enough Bud. As long as your primary DPS is removing a chunk, like has enough damage to set a Bud that could remove a chunk, she's going to remove She's going to remove chunks. This Bud-based dot. That's the best kind of dot. There are other bleeds and things in this game that do like damage over time. They're garbage if they're not Bud-based. They're utterly ignorable if they're not Bud-based. I don't know why, but they are. I really tried to figure out why some of these are not great, but Bud-based is the best kind. All right, and her ultimate over here, Horrifying Visage, or Visage, however you want to pronounce that. Voronika moves in front of the party, magically damaging and pushing back all enemies. So, screen-wide damage and screen-wide knockback. Any surviving enemies do reduced damage for 30 seconds. So, you also get some survivability stuff. So, boom, that's what... Oh, God, it was horrifying. And then she's back in the thing. Okay. And Dungeon Master immediately reset it. And see, this is why you don't want to hit other buttons. Even though this is a short cooldown, now I'm waiting forever to get back to my doubles. Alright, item-wise, damage all champions, Puppet Master, Calculating Guidance, Ultimate Power, Speed Run, and Ultimate Attack cooldown. Feats, she's got a variety. Damage all champions. This one is the one I like. Extended support, I had that in earlier. Let's put it back in. Changes Calculating Guidance to target the next 2 columns. So this frees up placement. But it's also great for people who who soak up positionals. If you want to hit them and the person that's soaking and transferring on positionals, extended support. Kindred allies add elves to Calculating Guidance as key allies. So if your formation isn't, fully evil, but the non-evil people are elves, hey. Right, like there's ways to boost that, the key ally number here. Puppet Master, Calculating Guidance, Speed Run, Ultimate Power. You've got the second set of specializations, so you can make those numbers bigger, like that 1000% or whatever. Like we can boost those numbers. She has Intelligence. This qualifies her for Strahd on her own. This is that harder speed run one. Yeah, so she's got a variety. I'm gonna take this out because again, this isn't about them. Why you gotta make this about you? Let's throw everybody back in that we were going to talk about. And get through their stuff. All right. Let's do Kron next. Kron was the very first Liar's Night champion. He was the second event champion in the game. And he was garbage. He was so garbage that when they reworked him, they went meta with the rework and said that Krond felt so bullied by the community that he hit the gym, because originally he was an int-based thing and he had a lower strength. He hit the gym and turned evil. And came back to show everybody they were wrong. It was so funny. Yeah. Prawn was real bad in year one, folks. He's a male half-orc fighter, chaotic evil, DPS debuff. He's technically an Eldritch Knight, which is why he's got magic attacks, okay? Orcish Smash is his base attack. It's a melee. He leaps out and attacks the frontmost targets with his bonded warhammer. Look, here's what Crown Normal looks like, by the way, but I always have him in the Silver Dragon thing. No affiliation. He's just, Prawn likes to smash. Prawn smash. So right away, you're going into upgrades. He has cantrips that he casts after he attacks. So he will become he starts off as a melee base attack champion and instantly becomes a melee and magic base attack champion. So Thunderclap adds basically an AoE magical burst when he right after he attacks, then it bursts out in an AoE. Shocking Grasp, whoever he attacked will deal additional damage to that target and stuns it for 3 seconds. So it's like a stun and a debuff on that target. So he will start doing additional damage after that. Firebolt, he attacks with the melee attack and then bursts out 3 firebolts that hit random enemies. Now, if you're just dealing with an armored enemy, that's 1 chunk from the main attack and 3 from the firebolts. They'll all end up on the same target. I always go with this. I'm not a Krond main, though. I want to be very clear, but I always go with this one. I always just go with Firebolt. I like the potential to remove multiple chunks, and it's also wave clear, right? So yeah. Eldritch Strike. Enemies that Krond damages will take an additional amount of damage from his cantrip spells on subsequent attacks. So once he attacks someone, they are weaker to his cantrip damage. Okay, you'll notice his base attack over here changed to War Magic. He leaps out and attacks the frontmost target with his bonded warhammer and then casts Firebolt, damaging several random enemies, right? And you see magic and melee. Okay. So know that he's always, the more he hits someone, like after he hits someone once, they're going to take more damage from all of his cantrips after that. Which tells you, truly, he is a magical champion. A magical base attack champion. So, because they're going to take more damage from his cantrip spells, if you have a chance to boost something, you don't necessarily, like if you have a choice between boosting melee or magical base attacks, with Krond as your primary DPS, you want to choose magical. Because this is what, they're going to take additional damage from the magical part. Okay. Survival of the Fittest. Increase the damage of Krond by an amount for each champion in the formation who is evil or has a strength score of 16 or higher. So he wants either evil people or his buddies from the gym. That's who he wants to be in a formation with. This is a varying number. It's a percentage, as you can see, and it obviously it's affected by an item. Because it's this amount for each champion. This is a multiplicatively stacking ability with pre-stack multipliers off the item. This is one of the original mathematically OP abilities in the game. So the more you boost his item level, specifically the Warhammer, his slot 4, the stronger he gets based off the evil and strong champions in the formation. And you build him based around a like a combo, either full evil, full strong, some kind of combo in between, right? You want everybody to meet this if you can. And then Kron Smash. And then Kron Smash. Kron's been one of those, champions that everybody goes, oh, they're the mathematically strongest champions in the game. He's been that way for a very long time, but it's only if you're really investing in item levels, right? Which doesn't necessarily mean he's amazing for a brand new player. And honestly, now with Cass in the game, Cass does what Kron does and kind of does it better, in my opinion. So, as you can see, that's it. That's his entire kit. So even after the rework, it's still real. It's still real straightforward. He gets his cantrip choice. He does more damage to things he hits on subsequent attacks based off the cantrips, and you just build him around evil and strong. Kind of boring, kind of straightforward and boring in that regard. His ultimate, Arcane Charge, he throws down his Wormhammer, leaps up into the air, teleporting to a random enemy, and causing massive AoE damage by slamming down to the ground and casting Shatter when he appears. You can't really see it, but he did it. He did the thing. Items, pair of self-damage item, because he's DPS debuffs. Like, he really just cares about himself. He's not a support champion. Just because he has debuff here doesn't mean he's support. Cantrips, survival of the fittest, ultimate attack damage, ultimate cooldown. Feats. You can tell I don't use Kron. I don't have any feats slotted for him. Damage of all champions, self-damage, survival of the fittest, and wisdom. Wisdom is going to help you... Oh, that was like, maybe qualify for Narak? Guess the right focus? But really, with Kron, you just want these two. You want the survival of the fittest, and then you want like these two self-damage buffs, and you're done. I don't know why they gave him damage of all champions. He's not a support. He's not a support. That's Kron. Kron was real quick and easy, folks. Let's do Dinar. Dinar Blitzen. Yes, it's a reindeer joke. Male Dragonborn Paladin, chaotic good, healing, support, gold, debuff. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's a member of the Akink C team. His base attack, look, I know he has an enormous sword that he's just sitting there with one hand with. His base attack is magical. Magical. Call command. Dinar targets a random enemy, casting a random command on them and doing a small amount of psychic damage. He's got a variety of commands. How do they list them out? Yeah, here we go. Hold. Stuns an enemy for 3 seconds. Flee. An enemy is pushed back. It does a knockback. Taking 100% more damage for 10 seconds. Fear. Enemies have a 50% chance to miss their attacks for 5 seconds. Or drop. Enemies drop 50% bonus gold on death. This is the gold roll. And the debuff roll. All under the base attack. Okay. His ultimate we did earlier, it's Acid Vomit, right? He attacks the nearest enemies with his comically oversized sword, then vomits acid in a puddle, which deals damage to enemies who walk through it. Here it is. Boom. So he hits someone, drops back, throws up. The drop back is important because if they're stacked up on your tank, the vomit may not actually drop on the front line. It can be a little annoying. It's a bit of a random on where he places the vomit, which... Fair. Aura of Vitality. Every second, Dinar targets the champion that has lost the most health based off the percentage of their overall health, giving them a healing buff that lasts for 10 seconds. So this is what we call a HOT, or a heal over time. HOT. It heals them for an amount every second. This will change. And if it's the same person over and over again, you're basically just resetting the timer. It's not stacking up more heals. Okay, so technically he can heal everyone in the party if they're taking damage. But he targets the people who have lost the most, percentage-based health. Lead by example, this increases damage of all champions in his column, as well as all champions behind him. So he buffs in his column and everyone behind by an amount. Spec choices, change his command. He's got oh yeah, and everyone cool out. He was very much wrestling inspired. Oh yeah, increases the duration of Dinar's hold command by 2 seconds, the effects of flee by 100%, of fear by 50%, and of drop by 100%. So basically, oh yeah, makes all of those effects better. Okay. Everyone cool out turns the commands into an AoE. This is great if you're just really focused about the bosses. This is great if you want to hit all of those enemies stacked up on the front of your formation. Okay. I tend to go boss killer. It depends. The AoE is fun. I'm not gonna lie. It just depends. I go a little back and forth. Figure out what you want and go with that. That's it. He is a much older champion. So fairly straightforward in his kit. Pair of damage all champions items because he is a support champion. Aura of vitality, so that's for the healing. Lead by example, that's his buff. Then ultimate attack damage, ultimate cooldown. Feat wise, damage all champions. Gold, straight up gold feats, which is fantastic. You can boost those heals. You can boost the buffs. He does have an Aasimar glitch now, which buffs lead by example with Aasimars in the formation. So if you need to change, his or add a species, he stays Dragonborn, becomes Dragonborn and Aasimar. You put that in. You can. Brig Health Claw. Oh my. Brig Hellclaw, and I almost forgot. We do have one more champion, and they're in the same. They're in the same bench seat as Voronika, so I'm gonna pull them out so I remember to talk about Laura. Well, okay, we're gonna do Laura things. We'll explain this later. That's why we left him out. Gonna do Laura things. I'll explain what just happened when we get to Laura. Let's talk about Brig Hellclaw. This is my default skin for Brig, but this is the default skin for Brig. Brig is a male human rogue bard, chaotic good support. Ignore the affiliation because it doesn't mean anything. War loot, it's a melee attack. What? Brig leaps out and smashes a random enemy with his metallic guitar because it's got spikes on it, folks. It's got spikes on it. Man, I should have dressed up as Brig again. I have this outfit. Main ability, and this is everything about Brig is built around hype. Also, we should point out Brig is the character. I gotta call this out because they're in the game. Brig is the character created by Jason Charles Miller. Jason Charles Miller is the bard from Bardic Inspiration. It's the person that helped create all of these things. This is singing on most of these songs, playing the guitar. The bard from Bardic Inspiration. I'm wearing the Bardic Inspiration shirt today. But everything's built up around hype. Brig increases the damage of everyone in the formation by 100%. For each hype stack, the buff is increased by 10%, stacking additively. Okay. Additive stacker. This is why he's not the super strong in the current meta. Everything's about stacking hype. Everything's about stacking hype. They don't tell you how to stack hype. That's all the other abilities. So just know that what you're trying to do with Brig is stack up the hype as high as you can get it. Okay, Rallying Chord. Brig's hype is increased by 5 while at least one enemy has been defeated within the last 10 seconds. So right now we're getting that bonus. If no enemy is defeated in the last 20 seconds, Brig gains 1 hype stack each time a unique champion attacks up to a max of 10. So you get 5 while you're killing easily, but you can get up to 10, which is more math. 10 hype stacks, just based when you're not able to kill. So he's giving you more boost when you're having a hard time killing things. Okay. Inspired Bard. Brig gains 1 hype stack for each adjacent champion. So he wants to be surrounded by champions. He gains an additional hype stack for each adjacent champion whose listed attack damage is higher than his. That's the amount at their feet as far as anyone's been able to figure out. So you ideally would want other people that have a higher damage number than him. That one is really difficult, to be clear, to make happen for lots of reasons. So I don't necessarily go super hard on that part. Yeah. All right. Spec choices. Backup singer or cream of the crop. Backup singer, Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in front of him in the formation, which means he wants to be all the way in the back, ideally in a single champion column in the very back, if possible. Cream of the crop, Brig gains 2 hype stacks for each champion in the formation whose listed attack damage is lower than himself. I've never understood this one because it fights against the other one where he wants to be surrounded by people who are higher than it. So I always go backup singer. So he wants to be all the way in the back. He wants to be, his kid is a little confusing sometimes. Again, a product of an earlier time of Idle Shampoo's development. Siren's Chan increases the effective Brig's height by 200% for each champ in the formation with the Signs of the Realms affiliation. There's only 2 others. They're not adding any more. This isn't a thing. Don't worry about it. Critical moment. Yeah, that was the next one. Brig gains 1 hype stack for every 5 enemies on the screen. So as you get deeper and deeper into push and more enemies are building up on the screen, he's going to add hype. He gains an additional 10 hype stacks when a boss enemy is on the screen. So basically, again, the harder it is to kill things, the more he's going to hype. The more hype he's going to get. Volume up increases the damage bonus of hype based on the highest number of hype stacks that Brig has ever had at once. The increase is 5% per hype stack, stacking multiplicatively. This is only something you ever have to do once. So you have to figure out, like, what is the map? How can I build and what formation layout do I use in what campaign or what event to build the highest total potential volume up buffs you can get, like the most hype you can ever get, just once, and then it will store it and use that value forever. Okay, what did I get mine to? I don't know. I did a good number, 56. I got to 56. It's another EO4 bonus against hype. So yeah. So do it once, you never have to do it again. Ultimate attack is solo. Brig performs a killer solo with flashing lights and musical notes flying everywhere, damaging and pushing enemies back with massive sound power. For the next 30 seconds, Briv hype stacks are increased by 11. I love it so much. Look at that. Look at him go. Yeah. And so while he does that, everything flies up. And then this is the fire under his feet is to let you know that's the 30 seconds that he's turned it up by 11. The musical references, so good. Item wise, pair of damage all champions. You got a hype because everything is about hype. You got volume up, which feeds into hype. Everything's about hype. Ultimate attack damage, ultimate cooldown. Damage all champions feats, hype, shocker. Volume up, shocker. Intelligence gets you into Strahd stuff. All right. Thalora. There's a reason I have her out here by herself because she likes to be the centaur of attention. Cheers, everybody. All right. Thalora, female centaur paladin, lawful neutral, tanking, support, and speed champion. And you saw her speed effect. I put her in. She rushed us. We were on area 1. She took us to area 86. Just skipped all of those. And along the way, collected the gems off of every boss we passed. Okay. So it's a really cool speed effect. We'll talk about it in a second. Overwhelm at 25 as a tank. Base attack, Windsong Strike. It's a melee. Thalora strikes an enemy with her hooves and another with her blade. And her ultimate, the Light of Mount Tura. Thalora charges through the enemies, dealing one massive hit to them in a wide path. So, huge AoE attack. Then increases the damage of all champions by 400% for 15 seconds. Here's what it looks like. Boom. You get a light show, and then you get 15 seconds of her eyes glowing. 15 seconds of her eyes glowing. All right. Her passive ability is a Wallow Text. Plateaus of Unicorn Run. Thalora gains a rush stack for every 5 areas she completes in adventures. These stacks persist through resets. Thalora's rush target is equal to her number of rush stacks, so whatever she's accumulated, or the current campaign's favor exponent. That's, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Whichever's smaller. Okay. Exponents. We use scientific notation in this house and in this game because they do stuff like this, where they're talking about things that have to do with scientific notation. Scientific notation is the number after the E. This is an event. The favor I have in this event is this is Lyra's favor. It's the third down on the list, and it's E85. So you'll note we went to 86, right? Because we started on 1, and for whatever reason, it rushes you. The target isn't. It's the target plus 1, basically. So 85 plus 1, we ended up on 86. Okay. Because I have E85 favor, and my stacks were high enough. And my stacks were higher than that. I had more than 85 stacks. Okay. When Thalora kills her first enemy in an adventure, or when she would go to attack, but a click kills it first, both counts, she spends all her rush stacks, so she will burn them all, and skips to the first area past her rush target. This is what I'm saying. So it's the rush target plus 1, which is why we ended up on 86 instead of 85. Thalora gathers all the rewards, including gold, from bosses skipped in this fashion. I don't know why it says including gold, but really, the gems, the stuff in the bags that you want. The gems, the chests, anything else that a boss bag might drop. But nothing from the normal monsters. Nothing from the normal one. Okay. This is her passive. But this is her speed effect. It gets better the more favor you have in a campaign. So when it's a brand new, like when it's a brand new event, you throw her in, you don't go anywhere because you got 0 favor. And you're already on 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. You are already there. All right. But after that, you get to skip a bunch of the early stuff that you don't really need to do. Right. All right. Base ability, base buffs. Thalora increases the strength of the Lumus. Thalora increases the damage of champions in the column behind her. Very Nayeli. Right. Just one column behind her is what she's buffing. Paladin's Resolve. Each time Thalora attacks and doesn't kill an enemy, which should be, after you get all through all the early garbage stuff and into the real fighting, she should never be killing anything. She increases the effective strength of Luma by 15% until the area changes, stacking multiplicatively and capped at 100 stacks. So in area ramping damage. She will keep attacking and it will keep buffing 15% to the power of 100. Right? It can be a solid help for you moving forward, right? We did the ultimate. Let's do the first spec choices. How many spec choices? Defender of the Meek, Vanguard of the Quick, or Kalessa's Blessed. And there's numbers down here. The Defender of the Meek. Thalora increases the damage of champions with a strength of 12 or less by an amount for each such champion in the formation, stacking multiplicatively. Buffs apply to the pre-stack value. That makes this mathematically overpowered, right? So she's got a bit of a mop going on. Now this means you're building the formation around weaklings, like strength of 12 or less. So maybe you're doing like a magic-based formation, right? This might go into the count, but you have to choose There has to at least be a 1 here. Whoever your primary DPS is. Otherwise, she's not, she's not buffing them, right? If they don't qualify for one of these things, then this buff doesn't apply, and why would you choose it? Be doing nothing. So it isn't just about the number, it's about, like, they should put the names down here. This is one where they need names instead of numbers. Okay, so you're picking whoever your primary DPS is going to be. Strength 12 or less is this one. And it gets better the more of champions like that are in the formation. Vanguard of the Quick, the same thing. Damages speed champions for each speed champion in the formation. Again, all the multiplicatively pre-stack, right? Bless is Bless, the damage of female and non-binary champions. Same thing, multiplicatively stacking for each champion in the formation. Okay. So you pick whatever your primary DPS is, and then you try to build that formation out as much as you can to that. I mean, anytime you have a mathematically overpowered ability, you kind of want to favor building around that if you can. Doesn't mean you just put someone in that qualifies if with that buff and their own buffs, it's still worse than someone else that didn't qualify. Right? You got to find the best formation for you. Radiance of the Sky Sense. The Laura increases the health of all other champions by 25% of her max health. So this is her health share. And any healing effect on those champions, so your entire formation, is increased by 25%. This is how they're trying to make healing more relevant in modern times. So everyone in the formation gets 25% more healing. Feats to Spare. It's a centaur joke, folks. The effects of feats assigned to Thalora also apply to all adjacent champions. What? Unique ability in the game, folks. Note that feats that buff her formation abilities have no effect, because those other champions don't have that. Right? But if you have all champs damage feats, they apply to her and all adjacent champions. You have health feats, they apply to her and all adjacent champions. She's great in a like a 3-tank front line. You put her in the middle and 2 tanks beside her, and you put like health feats on, you got so much health. Stat feats. Her and all champions adjacent to her. Right? So any of these kind of generic feats. Attack speed. Her and everyone adjacent to her. So as long as the feat isn't just about her ability, she's gonna share that with everyone. Super cool. I don't know that we've really unlocked the potential power of this, right? But it's a super cool idea. Item wise, damage all champions, health, what you want on a tank, strength of the Luma, paladin's resolve, then this is the spec choices, and then ultimate cooldown. Feats, damage of all champions, health, thin their ranks. This is a speed feat, reduces the number of areas required per rush stack. Oh, that's right. I said it was every 5 areas. It's actually every 10. Because I have this feat and it's every 5. You want this speed feat if you're doing her for speed reasons. Strings of the Luma, Paladin Resolve, the spec choices, Overwhelm, again, with tanks, throwing in health feats and overwhelm feats. You have her in in the middle of a 3-tank front line. She shares health and overwhelm with everyone around her. Ridiculous. She does have an attack speed feat. Does Constitution +1. This qualifies her for Vajra. She shares this with everyone adjacent when it's slotted. And Intelligence +2, which qualifies her for Strahd. And again, shares this with everyone adjacent when it's slotted. Pretty cool stuff. Now you know why she's the Centaur of Attention. All right, folks. That's everything. Again, we went a little longer than an hour. I did take some time to slow down and talk a bit more about Voronika, but it was worth it. We do have about a half a dozen questions. That's not that many. Come on, folks. So we're going to take a quick musical interlude. This song is Briggs' song, Show Must Go On, and we'll be back to do questions.
Brig Hellclaw, the dragon charmer, the only bond you'll ever need. Brig Hellclaw, the heart disarmer, just rode in on your lover's steed. In in the shadows, he moves unseen, while on stage he takes the lead. Brig Hellclaw, that bearded strummer, don't forget to buy him mead. Deep below Mount Tiamat, his words disarm the worms. Sneaking in the dark of night to steal your heart for sure. In the light he'll make things right, and you'll love him even more. Brig Hellclaw, that rakish siren, spinning tales of distant shores. The show will always go on, but he never forgets his mission. Not just to sing or strike a chord, but to leave them wanting more. Brig Hellclaw, that roguish bard, watch out for what he has in store. He's in your town for one night only, be sure to bring your gold. Sit yourself down and drag a flag and enjoy the stories told. Writing songs for friends and foes, his music warms your soul. Brig Hellclaw, the storyteller, songs will make you whole. The show will always go on, but he never forgets his mission. Not just to sing or strike a chord, but to leave them wanting more. Brig Hellclaw, that roguish bard, watch out for what he has in store. Brig Hellclaw, the storm runner, may he live forevermore. Brig Hellclaw, that bardish rogue, the crowd demands an encore.
Hey, and we're back. All right, I'm gonna dive into the questions. Let me hit the stuff that's on topic first. So if you have questions about anything, game related, keep in mind I am not a full-time employee of CNE, so can't answer future stuff unless I heard about it on Dev Insight. Newbles asks, ignoring the speedrun ability for Voronika, does the rest of her kit make her a usable champion, or is she more niche? I mean, you have to want to. I mean, she's functional, and if you're using a positional, like a formation full of positional formation abilities, PFAs, that spec choice that boosts things by 75%, that's big, right? That's applying to so many things. But she is like Umberto, where if you want her true power, the ultimate power out of her, you got to ramp her up for a long time, right? One of those where, just know that that extra power is available, and if you want it, if you're real close to finishing something, and I mean real close, I know it's E43, but you got to be fairly close to put that kind of time in, right? It feels like if you're a long way off, but she could get you there, right? In a really restrictive variant of some kind. I don't know that she's for me, in my play style, she is not she's in all my formations type of champion. But that E43 makes her, a potential. In the same way that Umberto's big boosts on investigations over time can give him potential if you have to, right? There will be people who build formations with her, like evil formations. She fits in. Again, evil with lots of positionals, right? Yeah. Slava, which champions should I put contracts into this event? I have all the champions. Well, but I don't know which ones you flexed. Right? Everybody flexes different champions. Now, obviously, you get Cass and Voronika. Voronika doesn't need contracts. Voronika doesn't need item levels. She doesn't have any ability that really scales off item levels super well. Cass does. My Cass. I decided to go ahead and burn all of my patron currency that I had in the past. I had millions. And I bought chests and opened them, which of course generated bounty contracts. And Cass was the recipient of all of those in this event. So my Cass came in real hot in seat 6. 1,000 average item levels. I was not trying to do this, but he got there anyway. This is the highest champion I've ever had after an event, and we're not even done. He'll end up with more probably because I'm still earning tokens, and I always just put them into whoever the new one is. So my cast came in real strong. But yeah, otherwise it just depends on what other champions you flex and do they have, like, are you trying to keep things equal? Are you trying to go all in on someone? That's a you choice. You got to figure that out. Newbills, would Selice's ultimate be more useful with Voronika's ultimate power? No, because Selice's ultimate is not the button. I know that's confusing, but Selice has what I call stance revolution, where when you click this button, it just changes. I know it says ultimate attack, but it is not. When used, Selice will switch to a stance, and it's a 5-second cooldown. It does not count for Voronika. Here, let's pull up so you can see. Ultimate power, we're at 336. I'm gonna hit this button. You're gonna switch stances. I'm gonna pull this up. Ultimate power, she's at 336 because it's not an ultimate. Okay, it's a stance changer. Now her ultimate is actually are we there yet? Hold on. There we go. Her ultimate is this lightning bolt. When it's lit up, her ultimate is ready. Now, if her ultimate fires off, it only goes from this when you're switching from this stance with the charged lightning bolt into this stance, she fires off her ultimate. That may have gotten us credit. Let's go look. It did. Okay. But her ultimate is on an ability-based cooldown because it's one of these abilities. It's Thunderous Smite. It's an ability, but this is effectively her ultimate. And as you can see, it's on a 180-second timer. And I think she has a feat to make it shorter, but her ultimate doesn't function off pressing the ability button, like the ultimate buttons. So it doesn't count that way. It doesn't count for this. It doesn't count for anything you would think, like patron ultimates, anything that's tracking ultimate she doesn't count for. Havilar does though. And with speedrun, that's again 10 seconds. Again, is there some combination that might be faster? Maybe, but Bubba, can you put the event champions in an order of utility? You mean in a tier list? No, I don't do that. What I can do is just tell you kind of what they're known for, and then you can decide who you want to get, right? Like, you're going to get Cass and Voronika automatically, right? Flex champions, Dob is pushing and gold find. These are his kind of roles. Well, not roles, but he provides pushing power and gold find. Astarion, pushing power and gold find. Gee, I'm on a theme here. Just for me personally, clearly I went for pushing power and gold find. Krond is just DPS, right? Dinar is pushing and crowd control. I know he has some gold find, but it's not as important in the current meta as it used to be. So more pushing and crowd control. Averin, pushing power. Esmeralda, utility, debuffer. And when I say utility like debuffer is the pushing. The utility is like she can give you double credit on armored and hit-based enemies, and I love that kind of utility. I do that. I tend to just stick with that spec because that's why I want to use her. But she's a huge debuffer, right? Brig, pushing power, but not a whole lot. You saw his kit; it's pretty old. Kent, but he can be a DPS for you or a support. His kit is really built around overall account progress. So newer players aren't going to get as much out of Kent as older players. And Thalora is a speed tank, right? Thalora is a speed tank. So I can tell you that, and then you can figure out what you want, right? Nooble's Gaarawarr Dwarf Champion win. I probably never. I've been making. I literally, as of my posting the Liar's Night guide for 2024, I have been making guides for Idle Champions for 7 years. I don't have a champion in the game. I'm probably never getting one. I would love one, but it's probably not. People have asked. A lot of people have asked year after year after year. When's Gaarawarr getting a champion? Gaarawarr didn't. No. Gortys. Cass's feat, the Sword of Cass, says his base attack cooldown is reset at the start of each area. What's that for? It's right on the 10. It lets you attack with him at the start of each area. Here's the thing. That feat actually clued me into something that I didn't understand. I always thought everybody's attack timers just reset as you change areas, but they don't. It's a constant tracking. So it just means he's always going to have an attack ready at the start of every area. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's not, doesn't mean anything else. Yeah. All right, I think I'm just gonna keep going through these in order because I don't know. I don't have any other questions, and we got a half an hour left. Or wait, Sasha, does that mean we're just done early? I'm not even leaving to get lunch today, folks. I got leftover pizza, and I'm looking forward to leftover pizza. I got leftover pizza. I got German chocolate cake. Look, I got so much. I got so much to eat. I don't have to leave the house to go get food. And I got root beer. I'm a happy dwarf. Pocketchuck, channel question. What are the 5 XP messages you get when you finish a new zone? Good for 2. What? Oh, you're talking about channel points. Right? Are you talking about channel points? It's not linked to the game, first off. Channel points are, like here, the channel points are called CNE challenge coins. You accrue them just by watching the stream. The longer you're in the stream, the more you get. Sometimes there will be a little blue thing that'll pop up. It's like, open this from a bonus challenge, for bonus points. And you can earn more that way. And no, you're saying at the top of the game it says 5 XP? Hold on. We're about to finish an area. I didn't see anywhere that said 5 XP. Nowhere on. Are you seeing this on my game or your game? Okay. Pocket check. What platform are you playing on? Maybe it's a platform thing? I've never seen this. This is why I'm curious. This is your game, not mine. Okay, then it has to do with you and not us. So, yeah, so maybe it's an epic thing. But it has nothing to do with... To my knowledge, there's nothing... You don't earn XP in Idle Champions for playing the game currently. I'm not saying that wouldn't be cool. But yeah, I have no idea. It sounds like the epic achievement thing where when you finish an adventure, you get, like, or a variant, you get something, but I don't know. Charlations. If I now finally have 3 or more champions in each seat, congrats. Which 2 flex champions would you recommend for a Carlock, Bobby, and Rosie fan? Wow. So you're building around melee DPS. So flex champions for melee DPS. Astarion is a fantastic general support. I don't know if there's anything that's specifically for melee, first off. Astarion is a fantastic general pushing support and gold find champion. Esmeralda, specifically for Bobby, Carlock, and Rosie. Esmeralda's utility functionality of helping you get extra credit against armored helps reduce one of their big weaknesses, like one of like Carlock's biggest weaknesses, right? So anytime you're dealing with like a single target champion, you want to get like Esmeralda helps out. As long as your buffs are all equal, and for me they are in Seat 1. Like I swap between her and Orkira and Gale for their different functionalities, but most of the time I'm using Esmeralda. Those two are good. Kent has a spec choice which applies a poison, which is like a bud based dot to things, which again when you're running alongside those other champions, if you're using him as support against armored things, can, as long as the bud is high enough, can chunk armor segments off. So that's another way to race through armored stuff. So those are three potential options. Yeah, if you're just trying to find supports. So like Astarion, Esmeralda, Kent could be some good supports for that setup. Maybe. It depends on who you already have in those seats and if they're doing something better for you. So at least from this event, right? Wow, we got a lot of questions about the same thing all in a row. Okay, I'm here for this. I'm not afraid of this topic. People might not like my opinion of it, but if you ask, Toy for One, Rav Mori, and Moanulu, I think these are all related. For those who are unaware, can you talk about the upcoming platinum currency? I think all of these. Rav said, is platinum just for design now? I don't know what that means, but so if you did not see, and you might not have, because it was not everybody reads the blogs and stuff. I'm going to post this in chat. Here's the blog post about platinum. Platinum is coming to the game on Wednesday, October 16th. So just a few days from now. And platinum is changing a lot of things. Platinum is becoming well, let me just read it. Moving forward, platinum will be the primary way to purchase items from the in-game shop. This is the key, right? So shop. Right now, you're using real-world cash. Like, these are values of cash. This will now be replaced by a like CNE currency called platinum. And you can see like up here, look, there's gems and there's platinum, right? You're tracking stuff for spending in the shop. Those will be the two primary ways you buy things for the shop, which means you'll be buying when you make a purchase for idle champions. You're not purchasing stuff for the most part. There will still be some packs that are cash, and this is so that they can, because the only way they can be included in like platform sales and promotions is if they have cash products available. So there will be some for these purposes, but mainly from now on, when you go to make a purchase, if you support the game financially, what you'll be doing is buying a bag of platinum and then spending that on whatever you want. There's going to be a lot of different values that you can buy. They have like 5 tiers and that they had listed currently. So there's like a they tried to equate these to as many of the price packs as possible, and from what I can tell, they hit all but one. Yeah. One's a little off, but the others are fine. So normally you would buy like a familiar for $5.99. Like the familiar pack. Let me bring up the shop. This is good to talk about. So normally if you're looking at, well, let's look at regular packs and regular prices, like the smallest. Okay, so normally Dr. Buzz Watson familiar pack comes with the familiar and some potions, would normally be $5.99, right? So now this is going to be this is going to cost 840 platinum instead. Right? 840 platinum is going to cost $5.99. Like, it's right there. So for the familiar pack, if we're talking about the familiar pack, which is kind of the cheapest pack, right? The $5.99 pack. Because sales, we're not going to talk about sales because sales will now be like it's going to be sales on the platinum cost. It's going to be, so we're talking about base prices. The cheapest thing you can buy in the game right now, the cheapest new thing, like, because now this is where their pricing starts, is $5.99. 840 platinum. The cost of 840 platinum pack, $5.99. Okay. That's, I think, the lowest pack you can get is a $5.99 pack. The price of like a familiar or like the higher familiar packs or the skin and feet packs, the base price of some of the skin and feet packs, $11.99 usually. This is US dollars, by the way. There is a platinum pack that costs $11.99 and it gives it gives 1,760 platinum. However, the cost of what normally would have been an $11.99 pack is only 1,680 platinum. So you're actually, I mean, sure, you're still spending $11.99 on that platinum. You're going to have leftover platinum that you can save up for something else, right? And this is how it works all the way down the line. The one thing they don't have is like there's a $16.99 familiar pack. They don't have a $16.99 platinum pack. They have a $24.99 platinum pack, right? It's the one thing that doesn't line up. But like there's a $27.99 theme pack. Like we've seen these for like champion theme pack. It's $27.99 US. The new price for that would be 3,830 platinum. They don't have a $27.99 theme pack either. They have a $24.99 platinum pack for 3,833 platinum. So it's actually, that's going to cost less. So it's been $27.99. You're only going to be spending $24.99. And then those $59.99 Champion of Renown packs are now going to cost 8,000 platinum. They do not have a $59.99 pack for platinum, but they have a $49.99 platinum, $10 less, that gives 8,000 platinum. So like the prices of some of these higher things are actually going to cost you less, whereas the price of the lowest thing is going to be the same. And then of course there's like a $99.99 platinum pack, which is like just a ton of like over 17,000 platinum. For you know, people who want to just throw down, like if they got $100 budget for the month, they can buy $100 worth of platinum and spend it however they want, right? So across the board, most of this lines up and everything is either the same price or less. Or less. Now the other thing that it does is it allows them one thing they can't do in the game is just give you like let you play along and let you earn discounts on stuff from the shop, because platforms are like no. But with a currency like this, if they make their own currency in a game like this, they can give it away free. And in fact, there will now be daily login rewards. There will be a daily login rewards that'll show 7 days of login rewards, and every day they're giving you platinum. Every day they're giving you platinum. Which means there is now a new way that never existed before and never would have existed for you to get stuff from the cash shop as a free-to-play player. You can just log in every day, collect your platinum, save it up, and then buy stuff. Now, it's going to take you like the numbers they have in their blog have it at like 10 platinum a day as a login reward, which would mean 84 days to get you a familiar. But what's the thing everybody's always talking about that they want more of? Familiars, usually, right? So every 84 days, you could get a new familiar pack. And that's at the full price. They have more freedom now to discount stuff for any reason they want that they couldn't do before, because before they have to run discounts through the store platforms, and they have to go in and adjust things and get the approvals, and because platforms don't like sales unless it's for specific times of the year and stuff. Now they can have sales whenever they want. They can just reduce the amount of platinum something costs in the shop whenever they want. They could never do that before, right? Another thing is they're going to have like weekly offers. So you know how like we have occasionally wild offers, and sometimes there's like a daily offer. Now they're going to do a weekly offer, which is like 5 items that'll show up in the shop, and they will all have a different discount. Like the examples they have is they give like rarities to discounts. So there's like different amounts, like something could be on sale, and you can even buy individual things. Like one of these is they have a potion of the gold hunter, so they'll even have 7-day potions that you can just pick up potentially in these weekly offer pools that were never there before. Also a familiar just on its own outside of a pack with the other stuff, right? They also have like platinum chests. This is a new thing. It's a higher tier of chest, and for champions, and when you get a duplicate item out of a platinum chest, along with whatever item levels that duplicate would have normally provided, it'll provide you an additional 30 item levels. So these are ways to get, like, you're getting a lot more out of purchasing chests from the shop than has ever been available. They have feats in here, and I've always kind of been I like cash feats, and this is effectively cash feats. I don't get your cash with gems, folks, or get your feats with gems, folks. But they potentially, these discounts, like they show here, there's like a small pack of chests, gold, like platinum chests, or no, it's gold chests for a champion, just free. Like there will be some things that are just free. And they've said that occasionally in the weekly offer, it could just be platinum. Like it could be a chunk of platinum, like a bunch of it, for free, as another way to help you earn just by playing. And potentially, they said, potentially, they don't know for sure, but they might give away platinum for like the quarterly celebrations. I don't know. But this allows them to reward people just for playing the game in a way that lets you buy stuff from the cash shop, and they could never have done this. Right? To me, these are all positive things. Obviously, there a lot of people don't like. I've almost forgot my favorite part. There is a thing called a daily pack. The name is maybe not the greatest name. You buy a daily pack, and it unlocks a daily boost. So it gives you a boost of extra platinum every day that you log in. So you get 10 base platinum, and the boost is 20 platinum. So basically, for every day you're going to log in, you get 20 extra platinum for the month. So let's say we're just going to say 30 days to make this easy. So that's 600 extra platinum. Plus, it gives you extra platinum at the start. And I think yesterday somebody asked, and I believe Justin said, or Thursday, Justin said the total overall is like 1,300 platinum you get for buying this pack, this daily pack, which would mean it's like 700 to start and then 600 that you gain. It's $4.99 is the price they said. Remember, $5.99 gets you 840. $11.99 gets you 1,760. This is 1,300. It's just not instantly, and requires you to log in every day. So what they're trying to do is, like, this is their loss leader. They're giving you a very inexpensive way If you just want to throw $5 at the game every month, you'll get 1,300. If you're logging in every day, you're going to get like an extra 1,300 platinum on top of the 300 that you get from your logins, and you can spend it any way you want. Right? So they're providing a lot of other ways, basically, for you to support the game, and they're creating ways that it's easier for them to offer cool stuff, and also to look. I just ran into this the other day. People were like, "I'm trying to buy stuff on Epic, but it won't let me buy. Like the prices are wrong, and blah blah blah." Epic has this weird store token, and you got to refresh. Like you got to turn off your client, and you got to turn off Epic, and then restart everything to get it to refresh. That problem's not going away, but now you could just buy platinum on Epic, and then you can just buy stuff out of the shop without having to deal with that headache of a token refresh every time you're trying to buy something and it doesn't work. That's cool. It also reduces like credit card fees. These are all things you have to deal with businesses. It's annoying. And they don't have to just do all the stuff they have to do to manage all of these sales across these platforms. So, you know, lots of boosts overall. Negatives. There's a thing where they're like, hey, if you don't like, because look, everything's going to have something we don't like. If you don't like the 5 offers in the weekly shop, you can re-roll one of the items. There's like a little re-roll feature. I want to be very clear. This is something the community asked for. Some people in the community asked for in Dev Insights. They wanted to re-roll their wild offers. You're re-rolling it with 20 platinum. And you get 6 re-rolls a week. People in the community ask for this through wild offers. They're like, I want to pay $1 to re-roll my wild offer. I don't want to. I don't want to pay $1 to re-roll my wild offer. I don't want to pay 20 platinum to re-roll my wild offer either. If it had been gems, green gems, or just free, win. Total win. But multiple people, I saw this from multiple people in the community over the last 7 years. I've seen this repeatedly. People asked for this. I didn't. I don't like it. This is one of my negatives. This model in general, there are people who complain about this model. And I get it. I get where their complaints are from. But for me, I always want to look at, like, is this beneficial at all for free-to-play players? And is it more beneficial for cash players? And to me, this is a big win for free-to-play players because you can now get more things that you could ever get. You can now get cash shop purchases just by saving up and playing the game. Now, it's not like you're going to be getting Champions of Renown pack. Those are pricey, but familiars. Everybody's been asking for ways to get more familiars. This is how they're approaching it, right? And you know, who knows what these sales are going to be and what these freebies are going to be. Like, we don't know, but to me, this is way friendlier. This game is already one of the most friendly free to play games I've ever played. This makes it way friendlier. And for cash people, as someone who has supported the game with cash in the past, all the prices just got better. Like, yeah, all the prices just got better. And if you're someone who spends lots of money, it's even better. So what is there? There is a thing that people complain about, and it's that this idea that there is a psychological effect, very clear. I just want to get this out there, where people spend more money, or people tend to spend more on things that they don't equate to real cash. This isn't just with video games. I want to be clear. The studies that originally proved this are related between paying with like a cash or a check or a debit card from your bank account versus using a credit card. People are more likely to use what they consider just kind of the credit card and worry about it later than cash. And this continues into models like this, where if you like, you know, spend $50 on platinum, you don't necessarily pay attention to what you're spending and all. You don't think about it in terms of the cash that you're spending once it's become platinum. And so you can definitely run into issues where you're not thinking about how much you're spending at any given time. So I definitely would say, if this is something that affects you, make sure you set a budget for yourself and just try to stick to your budget. And when it's out, it's out. Just like you might with like your Steam wallet or something like that, right? Also, there is a psychological effect where if you've got let's say 500 platinum that you've earned, and there's something that you really want that's, a 800, you might be more likely to buy a pack to get there than wait, because you're like, oh, I'm so close, I'll just buy it, right? Yes, well aware of these. My bachelor's degree is in psychology. I am well aware of these things. Video games aren't the only problem here, but what I will say is if you want to have issues with overall, like, there are so many issues with video game spending. When I looked at this, I was like, yeah, no, I know this is going to be, these are valid negatives to this kind of system. I want to just sit down and read the whole blog post, and after I read the whole blog post, I'm like, this is a lot of free stuff. This is like, the positives here to me outweigh the negative. Now everybody's going to have their own point of view, and that's fine. And if this is the line you won't cross, okay. For me, I see a lot of positive here for everyone. I only got a couple minutes. We got a lot more questions. Let me try to race through these. Black Widow, what type of pizza did you enjoy on your birthday? Chicago style deep dish, pepperoni and black olive. I think I'm gonna have some more right after this. Ryan M. Rich, would you unlock Rin for me? No. I have this spreadsheet and I'll find through 900, but I stall it at 903. I'm not gonna do it for you. Yeah, it's all about figuring out your spreadsheet with your strongest champions, and maybe you don't have strong enough yet. I don't know. You kind of got to troubleshoot that spreadsheet. Just understand you don't need full formations early on. You start at the bottom of your formation of your spreadsheet to where you need the power and work backwards, and then as you get further back, you use fewer and fewer champions. Right? That's I have a guide for that. Nave, since I do want to ask your opinion when it comes to the best group party in the game. Like group party? I think you mean pushing party? Should I get a speed party or a gold party first? Speed party first priority when you're a brand new player. Build, try to, if you can, try to build a speed party. Pushing group party, and then gold is the last one to build around. But you grab the pieces when you can get the pieces. I don't do best. I do whatever you enjoy the most. I think early on there's a wide variety. I would lean into the Holy Trinity meta, which or unholy. You have Cass, like with Cass with Duke Ravengard and Strongheart, create an unholy trinity of melee destruction. A holy trinity would be Duke Ravengard, Strongheart, and any melee champion. Rosie's amazing in it with her crit. I use Carlock in it. You could use Bobby in it. I have the most fun with those, and the most power for investment. I think that's like the best power for investment through the early and the mid game. Croc Davidson, have you ever built around Umberto's Druid and Ranger spec? His best buff and his mop. I'm kind of curious about the possibilities. No, because I don't like the whole wait multiple days to get the max possible stuff. So I've never really played around with his kit at all. It's also why I'm probably never going to really play a whole lot with Voronika. They've created champions that appeal to some people and don't appeal to me, so. Hakachuk, if you have Carlock, Bobby, Rosie already, you have mentioned Birdsong several times. Yes, Birdsong's Bird Strong. She's still worth getting, yes. Is she better than those other DPS? That's not the right question. Whereas she is a DPS support, so she can support all of those champions that you just said, whichever one of those you want to make your DPS. She can also be a DPS too. Hey, great. Wicked One, if it's not too much to cover, would you give some recommendations about where to put shiny potions on Liar's Night champions? At least Cass and Voronika. Voronika doesn't need any of them. She does not have any mathematically OP abilities. Cass is... Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find Cass's guide. I think I marked in the guide. I do a guild priority. Slot 4, Spawn of Cass. That would be his guild priority. But that is in the guides I make. Also look for references in the guides to mathematically OP abilities. Those are, you want to guild those. Makayo Okami. Trying to figure out an evil Black Dice Society absolute adversaries team for when we get Minthara. Here's the thing. You list a lot of things there, and you're like not sure if Will works well with that. He might not. Here's the thing. Until Minthara hits the game, and you understand what she might want to build around, I wouldn't waste too much time on this. Just wait until you see her kit, and know how it scales, and then go from there. Anything you might be getting in spoilers isn't finalized. Don't put a whole lot of stuff in there. Aggie Jess, do we know if the platinum changes are going to impact the wild offer system too? I mean, you'll be buying it with platinum, so yeah, but I don't know how. Xavier Pike, should I wait to open Patreon and weekly newsletter chests until I have all my evergreen champions to all epics so I get upgrades focused on the event champions? Only if you're super close to being full epic on your core and evergreen. Otherwise, open them right away, because you want the other things that are in there are more important, like all the potions and the contracts and stuff. You want that power the moment you can get it. If you're super close to full epic, you could hold on to them if you wanted. But there's no guarantee that that the items coming out of those, like if you're just getting a weekly chest or if you've earned a patron chest from achievements, there's no guarantee it'd be going to the right champion anyway. So what I will say is don't buy patron chests with currency or cash until you have your core and evergreens completely epic. MTL Shanker, have you done Elminster's version of Ren's? I haven't done any of the patron variants for any of the new stuff yet. I have no reason to go do that stuff other than completionism, so it's been pushed off. Spin 13, if you had to choose one champion to start with, what would be the optimal choice? No, that's too subjective. There's 140 champions in the game, so not really how the game works. Ravmori, would Avern still be generally better than Voronika? They're not in the same seat, so that question doesn't make sense to me. So I don't really have an answer for that. Ryan M. Rich, were you a fan of the D&D cartoon? I watched it a few times. I wouldn't say I was a fan. How excited to see what Eric scavenges. I already know some of the things that are happening in the future, because for a few years I had a contract where I was a subject matter expert giving feedback on their design for all kinds of things, including champions. So I can't answer that question. That's me saying I can't answer that question. All right, folks, we are done. We are out of questions. We're done with questions. I am off to eat pizza, to heat up pizza and eat it. This is the last stream of the week for the CNA Games channel. They'll return on Tuesday. However, I stream on my channel, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr, spelled like it sounds. If you don't know how it sounds, you can click my name in chat. If you don't know how to spell it after that, click my name in chat, click the follow button. I'll be over there. Usually I say in about an hour, but probably sooner, because I don't think it's going to take me an hour to heat up pizza and eat it. We'll see. I might want to take my time with that German chocolate cake. Eat it slow with a glass of milk. I don't know. Treat myself. What are we playing today? We're playing a pirate game because it's my birthday month and we like pirates, so stop by and hang out. We've been making lots of good progress on it. And I stream Idle Champions over on my channel on Mondays and Wednesdays in a show called Idle Chatter. So you can stop by and ask Idle Champions questions anytime we're live. I just may not be able to demonstrate stuff except on Mondays and Wednesdays. Thank you to all of you for asking the questions. Thank you to Sasha this week for grabbing all the questions. The song we're going out on, Spicy. Cry for Justice, the song for Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon. Have a great weekend, everybody.
shining beacon in the sky, guiding light to those who cry for justice. On platinum wings they fly. Their scales will form a shield, blade of mercy they will wield, unwavering delivered to us yield. Facing tyranny and greed, standing for the making free. From before the world was new, the platinum dragon flew. Here's the love of the North Wind, angel of the seven heavens, king of the dragon. Bahama will fight injustice. Let's show him that he can trust us. Knowledge, knowledge over gold, takes joy in stories told, grants his wisdom and blessings to the bold. Takes no pleasure in the fight, uses words to make things right. Through the darkness they carry brilliant light. Raise your hands up to the sky, 7 songbirds with him fly. Platinum wings will shelter all, if you just answer the call. Here's the love of the North Wind, angel of the seven heavens, king of the dragons. Bahama will fight injustice. Let's show him that he can trust us. Here's the love of the North Wind, angel of the seven heavens, king of the dragons. Bahama will fight injustice. Let's show him that he can trust his weakness. He's enlightened justice. Join our ranks and stand amongst us.